Okay, last time there was a fucking smoke bomb in the courtroom. So, I don't know what's happening. We were escorted out quickly and swiftly. 18th February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey defendant's antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruto, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. We're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? Why did the young girl even come? If Mr. McGilded was trying to cover for her, why did she even come to the courtroom? I don't understand. My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She was hiding in that, on that handle of the seat, inside that storage area. He's right, that is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Mrs. Atto. Yes! 18th February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh shit, that's the girl. Looks like those messenger, old, the ones you see in the movies. There's the small kids handing over newspapers and stuff. There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look, he must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Also, I wanted to say that the judge looks like the court, the usual judge we have in Ace Attorney. Not like the very cool Japanese judge in the first court trial. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. I believe we have established the cause of the smoke which wheeled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. How the fuck did she even get a smoke grenade? Now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which indeed induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord? Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that the wee lass was here in the first place and why she tried to bolt like that. It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Oh god. We are so clueless. We're literally winging it. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra! A loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet. So I sat him up on the seat across from me. And I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remained somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? Yes, exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. I kind of have an idea. Cross-examination, the young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Let us press.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. Huh? You were the first passenger, as it were? I see. Hey, and that's why I took the back side as I did. This is the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, this is how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, this is the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Wait. Opposite of the thing, so... Okay, yeah. I was right. Here. He was probably sitting on one of these seats, so the people from the skylight can't see it, but it's directly showing this way. Okay. I got it. Then Bigora, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Hey, that's right. How can I explain it? Just like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. Do you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, now you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone, but at the same moment, you did hear a scream? Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume? Not above me, no, my lord. It was from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me.
Hold it!
You sat him up, the victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone, and you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? It's common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks, now why would that be? Wait, sorry, I accidentally pressed. You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offered them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no, I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had a mind to find out the whys and the wherefores first. The whys and the wherefores? Right you are, there were some details I want to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example, wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the screams he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
Let's press. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did, as far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, there's a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up, it came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I had been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. Mr. Naruto, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes meet, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh, you are really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. Why would you make her sit on the opposite? Seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead Oh, that's why the people above thought like, oh, she's short, so, and she's like a young girl, so she's short and probably like the same height as Miguel did. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So I need to find out just who this urchin was, you see? And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and a gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGill did. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events I've explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade. My lord, I don't know what does that mean. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh shit. Ah! How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Okay, she's gone. Ah! The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes! I am over here! Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I'm not what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gen. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We are here to determine the truth, not cast. Bro, why is fuck bombing our faces? Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright. Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink vest. Ah, do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah, it's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl's Miss Gina Lestrade as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. Witness testimony. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding space. It's pitch in there. Then after a while I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out my skin. I did, and the scream just came out. It's because of that the swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. That was a very short one. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGill did. Oh, the simplicity itself. It's this simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah! So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'll automatically assume she done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized her action would result in your own innocence being called into question? Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness, what a perfect gentleman! My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I am ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. Oh shit. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Damn. Ooh. Now it's all gone on our side. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty? Mr. Naruhodo, it must mean what? But that we're victorious! We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh shit, man! If the sight of my Iron Hill Wellington offense, pray do forgive the discourtesy. Why is that so hot, man? This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules today. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGill's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Oh shit, there was stuff in? Order, order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Council? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh wait, there was stuff! I remember! Wait, there's actually nothing in right now? But I still feel like the amount of stuff was not that much, to be very honest. Even still, I feel like it's still a lot of space. Or whatever, yeah, there was... Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. Oh, this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Wait, you telling me I have to lie? But I don't wanna... But... Oh my god, this is going to be like... If I lie, then, like, Lord Van Zeeks will be very angry with me. And if I tell the truth... he will get into trouble, Mr. McGilded. Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? I am a simp. It wasn't empty. I'm a simp, I'm sorry. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for defense. But as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes? Are you sure, Counsel? Be whist! What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. Bro, I'm not gonna do a lying defense, you know? What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Ooh. I don't know why I said it, but I'm just saying it because I'm Sim. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. It's not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then, a fella's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. The compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules say that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Pepper isn't that irresponsible. The money-lending freezer and the pick purse are lying. Oh, this is a little weird. Am I helping the prosecutors? I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers, nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick! Quite so, I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Yeah, dude. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. Before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. What the girl saw. So I stuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses just like always. And let's press. So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on this run? Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob, eh? It's a rum idea, innit? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. Actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence at piece, making the 20 at which the cabman testified, and one little scapegrace riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before its last run, you see. That's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no? Why aren't you answering? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about this. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under their seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we have reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show me for my troubles that time. A waste of time? Why is it that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit, at least some of the time. Oh, I beg your pardon, did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night, this cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch, I was totally stuck. You mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure, I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you're sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place, it's pitch in there. Hold it! So you couldn't see out in the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. And I can't have a butcher that who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time the passengers plant themselves opposite. For some reason that night this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the cling. It's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I say that the reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. Anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Then after a while I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out my skin I did, and the scream just came out. Oh shit. I need to press the previous one. Hold it! When you see a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily? That's right, and then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood up in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment? You might have seen it. Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had a chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke, would have fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of that this swell found me. It did help me get away, mind.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff. I see he dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next, the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, with a bloke and a knife in its guts, he was still bleeding. The carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Oh my god, how awful! Both me and got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. This must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilda for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. When I heard something from above, someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First in the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. The horses were drawn up smartish and this Irishman says to me, get back on the seat. I'll see that you can get away later. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right, and I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it at all. I'm confused. There's something over here. This wasn't here before. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? It's just, well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Ziek has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? But there's nothing in here. Totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Over here?
Objection!
Okay, no. Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? What implications, counsel? Nothing strikes me about it. Exactly. There's nothing striking about it. What does strike me? The propensity for the inane, however. Oh, I need to clear my head and come out of this again from a different angle. This is a bit confusing. Let me do it over here.
Objection!
There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness. There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, counsel. Oh, please. Don't mind me. It would be significantly easier if you would lower your hand. I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence, as long as it's quite quick. Mom! This picture, maybe?
Objection!
No. I'm confused. I'm so confused. Why the fuck is this so hard? Truth is, I ain't too apt in small talk places with so much like being so. Okay! Oh! This is what I was searching for, bitch. Why are you laughing so evilly? Excuse me, bitch. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilda? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? Okay, so we have to press again and again. My god. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass, is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Same. Hey, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything, an unusual noise, perhaps? No, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring, but he just said he heard a scream. But jeebers, there's no need to tell the whole world for me foibles, you little scam. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of the last statement? It's profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is a profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council, nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your former testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to say, but it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Let's press on this. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got me head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, would you Adam and Eve it, eh? What a mug. But then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out here as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped in here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay and listen to I'm driving his pigs to market, snoring. What the fuck is this English? Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Let's say it doesn't add up. I don't know where. Mr. Strayed, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Ah! At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. The Van Zeeks realized it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Mrs. Straight, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, he heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilder snoring. But think, Nosuke, think. But Mr. Mason was also in there. There's something else should have been heard. Mr. McGilder was... Mr. Mason was there. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Mrs. Straight could not have failed to hear on the night in question, the sound very clearly explained the presence of the following person. Mr. Mason?
Take that!
Thrice-fired Mason? Yes, my lord. The sound that Mrs. Straight cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Pum 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 pum. Order, order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Mrs. Straight, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board on the omnibus is Mr. McGill, did? That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. Why are you lying? At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at the time? Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we have heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Mr. Straight's statement about what she did or did not here is at odds with the facts. Ah! Yes, this petty thief statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Mrs. Straight's statement. It would seem words of thanks and order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Oh shit. I feel like Mr. McGill, it's weird. He said like I was the only one in the bus. Bro, why are you lying? You weren't the only one in the tent. That makes no sense whatsoever. This girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Ugh, she didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. We just said the same thing the granny said. Ugh! Mr. Narhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. The considerable troubles you have spared me. Let me save. Yes, very refreshing. Ah! I have to be very honest, I'm not that upset about it because McGilded is being really weird. I feel like he has some kind of leverage on Gina as well. Like something is not going on. Have we forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadon? It's carnage. It's perfect. Your number 2 is the only one left. It's Narhodo, the way this is going, I know if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted you to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
I don't know what to say. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. I don't know what's going on, man. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Huh? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Wait, what? He was in there already? Was he already in that thing? He was put there after he died. I'm gonna press on this. Clearly, he was in there already from beforehand. Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that clearly in your last sentence? Well said, Lord Van Zieks. It clearly is troubling me also. No, that's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been in the carriage from beforehand. And answer me this. By beforehand, to what specific point in time are you referring? Well, clearly, I shall have to penalize the friends heavily for this irrelevant rambling. Ugh, I must learn to ramble more relevantly. The penalty is evidently not heavy enough, judging from the Nipponese eye, so I ask you again. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Okay, let me save. He was put there after he died. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection!
Oh wait! Can the skylight be opened and then thrown inside there? That's why the third sound came, probably. Is that it? I'm gonna reload. Okay, there's another entrance. If the door wasn't open even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. I'm probably thinking it's a skylight. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location from the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? I'm gonna say here.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say the skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence to support your idle brain theory? Both Mr. McGilden and Mr. Strait said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained as the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Mr. Strait to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
But that blood stain wasn't there before, so I don't think that's even what happened. So, I don't know, you're not suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... What the... Might I humble a fella making a weak comment here? Mr. McGilden? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that this is not so much a case of them not saying. It's a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellows do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree? Fine, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Ah! What? Yes, what exactly you're insinuating here? You blitterer? Oh my god, I know what the fuck it is. You rotter? Oh my god, what the fuck? He said you rotter. What are you insinuating? This is a flaming outrage. I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said. He said, so will I. Oh my god. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a steady gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. About you rotten scoundrel. What the fuck is this case? Order. This is not the time, witnesses. I'm so lost, man. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. The hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated the criminal guilt. In our British Code of Laws, this is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rushed to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. Testify! What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? Spectators in the public gallery are in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. Dude, I don't like this guy. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keeping pushing forward. I think that's wrong English, but okay. Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on the roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Holy hell, man. I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forward. That's right. You see? We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collision with one another. What? Eh? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Ha, well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. That is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? That's what I've been saying, man. I'ma check the thing. There's something on the roof. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. What if we climb through here? And then like, pidoom, pidoom. I don't think it's that difficult to climb on a running thing, I don't know. Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. We were the only two people up on the roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that.
Hold it!
Press it. So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck? Absolutely not, Dickon. No question about it, he said. Not at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? Hear me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask. Do you have any evidence at all? At all? This is all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. I saw you. My own eyes. It's going so well. If anything had happened where we were sitting down, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'll give you the keys to the vault if you would fall asleep in that bitter cold. If you didn't manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'll never open them again. That's extreme. The extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie! I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, it was a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. Hardly surprising. Seeing things? Bro, I'm really thinking about McGilded. I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. Oh, you! Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm suspecting this case, then there's only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill them.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before? Oh, let me know! And not once, never. He never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. Firth, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir, haters. Haters don't have much to do with breakmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put it? With this, neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin. It's always him who's talking. I feel like there's something weird. Mr. McGilded. Yes, counsel, what can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Now the remotest connection? Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay, it's just been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe this fast approaching, is it not? Your payment date? I beg your pardon? You bought 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest, you tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? That sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another? Ah! And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, it's a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers? Such as Thrice-Fired Mason? Ah! There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. This, you mean? I can't help thinking that the poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, don't you say? Oh! That's one of my hats! Hehehe, that it is, so it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer I'll wager you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir, absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here, the remotest connection to the victim, you see. Wait, what? I rest my case. You little weasel! Ah! He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGill has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. The sky was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his drag with you in a minute, that's what he said. You can look for yourself. Go on. See, it's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. So it is, of course, a fella that size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Oh, let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. The unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But first, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking dark at me, sir. I want as red as rue. I didn't. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be open. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame.
Excuse
Regina,
me.
what's up? Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! It opens. The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? What the fuck? All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easy than you can load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck on one of them drags. And I had a great haul, I had purses coming out me ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, I got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't op off the bus and leg it. What I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yes, the catch for the skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff! Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims. It opens from above, but not from below. Ah! Oh, my hat! See? Order, order, order! So, it appears that the street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck? There's Naruhodo! This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. The skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. The skylight was fastened shut before, and now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through the opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in closed cabin. I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. Okay, so let's go in. I know the blood is here, but this blood wasn't here before. That's what I'm saying. Oh, there's nothing else. You sure the victim fell through the skylight? Where's your proof? Probably here in press. Present, I mean. Proof! That's right, I demand to hear it. You came here to say what we saw. I tell you, not for this. But you call us both shysters, brand us as criminals. You call us liars, that's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourself now, is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. Ah! If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way. I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. You're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely. Let us present the carriage. Let's just consider the implication. Okay, no, it's not that shit. Oh! There's blood. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, someone like me? Ah! What is it? Look, just here, look at this. That's without question. It's blood. Why would there be a blood stain there? Surely it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Okay, there's blood stain visible on the frame of the thing. Now I can present it. I was just not looking clearly. Let's present.
Objection!
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. Ugh, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it. I tell you, it's impossible. Irrefutable proof here in this courtroom. Counsel, my lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? We'll point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Got it!
By Jupiter, is that blood? Ah! This blood stain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my! And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No! Order, order, order!
Hold it!
But, the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. I don't think it's not possible. It only found its way to that one particular spot in the skylight. Sure, that won't be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself would have been able to open it now, would I? But there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? This wasn't there before. It's all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height, right there, so it is. What? No! But it can't be. It's all lies!
Hold it!
My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. I'm still very confused about Mr. McGill. On 3 then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
A chilling performance, Mr. McGill. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks? A blood stain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went to the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage, at least not until his trial began. But are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that the stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session. What? Yeah, that's what I've been saying. It's a smoke bomb, man. What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm on Van Zeek's side, but I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander and I'll fight it to the bitter end. And even if it's rolling off the tongue of the reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGill did, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Chit, Lord Van Zeeks, this will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no! I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there had been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? He was doing the smoke bomb. Are we that stupid? Isn't that right now, counsel? It's true. Omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. I'm a simp, as you wish. Someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? You're asking me, I think it could have been possible. But I'm gonna save because I only have 1 health left. It could have been possible. I'm a simp, man. I'm a simp. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh! Good gracious! Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Is Lestrade like led astray? Led astray. Is that the thing? What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruto. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all of the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Feels like we're doing like what in Ace Attorney, like the one of the cases where Edgeworth is helping us, but we're doing the opposite. But like we are helping Van Zeeks. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, ye rotten feckless googer? Feckless googer? Supposed to be defending me. It's a wicked plot. It's a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as, to start with, the storage compartment underneath this rear passenger seat. There's nothing there anymore. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I've said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? It's the blood stain. I'm gonna do that just in case. I have an inkling. My lord? Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'll better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, begilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I should have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. The thing is, I don't. If actually McGillis actually did something, I don't want to implicate that it was those two who did it. Where exactly is the alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? It's this.
Got it!
If you consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether the evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Oh, brother, man. Oh, this is so stressful. Ah! McGill. He's the one breaking down. This trial is over. The McGill did. I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but all over now. But you're the defendant. It's over, I tell you. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. It's all a nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. Well. And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought I'd better off Lord Van Zeek. Well, my lord? I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeek, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. No! Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I should proceed to my abdication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. Defense believes. Oh, don't make me choose, please. Oh God, please don't make me choose. I think he's guilty, but oh my God, don't make me choose. Please don't make me choose. Please don't. Why are you making me choose? I'm going to go with my gut feeling. I know it's not supposed to be, but the defendant could be guilty. I'm here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Why do you say man out of nowhere? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he's innocent. Good. Gracious me! Order, order, order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? It was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Ah! Your job here is done, fella, and some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? It's just as the right honorable gentleman so persistently put it afore. The trial cannot go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Dude. I fucking hate you, McGilded. McGilded. I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. You stinking rich are always guilty of something. You mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us this lovely park. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I hate you, dude. I hate you. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. Indeed, the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with. The prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait! When we were evaluated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun a responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair! And we're such a simp, man. I'm so glad I chose this. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me this all had been a grand waste of time? The law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Like Miss McGill did. Good grief, you have more to say to me, have you? Just one thing, a warning. This is far from over. Well, it's something to be looking forward to then. Ah ha 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 ha! I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty. I don't like this though. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. This was not a happy win. This was not happy win. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. No, he's not. No, he's not. Even if he didn't murder, there's something off. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. My first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. I don't know what to say. 18 February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Mrs. Arthur, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. Isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? Don't even know that. The whole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Can you get out? I don't want to see you ever again. Mr. McGill did. And that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? For the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. Sure, you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. And this water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deal. It's grand, is it not? I suppose it is. The fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. And absolutely faith in them, so I have, after all. I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Arabi Wills, you're a humble people, are you, from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this, still and all. They deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? It's sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. The gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting you. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Dude, chill, man. Don't move! Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? And I ate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are! Oh? He's so cute! Naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And taking that with you as well? I was looking forward to the trial of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Ugh. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, and more white. They have to be shrouded in smoke. It could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. Tell her, what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course. Silly, to my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? Don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh, good. You see, I know I want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. She's so cute though. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. It was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right. But where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our travelling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings, but at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to the worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will free the young person's soul just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. And 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room or mansion. I don't know why did he deny that. I would have taken the money. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over. Ooh, anime cutscene.
What's going on?
Get the fire brigade! Water!
Oh shit!
Water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
What the?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Oh, someone's in there.
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
Oh shit, man. What the fuck is going on?
Oh, this can't be.
He's so hot. I don't care about anything else. Who was in there? I don't know who's in there. The end. Woof! This was a difficult case, to be very honest. I don't know you could like pursue if you press every other testimony you can we should press it again so that there are more stuff you can find out. Know about that. I'll keep that in mind next time.